Nathan Driscoll was inspecting the cracked fence rail behind his barn when he saw two figures cresting the hill that bordered his property. And his first instinct was to reach for the hunting knife at his belt, because nothing good ever came from the eastern borderlands on foot. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the valley floor, turning the golden wheat fields into an amber sea that rippled in the autumn breeze. He squinted against the glare, his calloused hands shading his eyes as the figures drew closer, and that was when he realized they were not human. They were orcs, two of them. Both female, judging by their builds and the way they moved. Nathan felt his heart rate spike, but he forced himself to stay calm. He had served 3 years on the border patrol before retiring to this homestead, and he knew better than to assume aggression before seeing intent. Still, his hand stayed near his knife as he walked slowly toward the front of his property, keeping his movements deliberate and non-threatening. The two orc women stopped at the edge of his land, right where the fence line marked the boundary between his cultivated fields and the wild grasslands beyond. They were both tall, easily matching his own height of 6 feet, with the characteristic green skin that ranged from deep forest to pale sage. The one on the left had darker skin, almost emerald in the fading light, while her companion was lighter, closer to the color of new spring leaves. Both wore travel-stained clothing, leather and rough spun fabric that had seen hard miles. Their black hair was braided back from their faces, and he could see the glint of small tusks protruding from their lower lips. What struck him most was how young they looked. Not children, but certainly not seasoned warriors either. Early 20s, he would guess, and they looked exhausted. The darker-skinned one swayed slightly on her feet, and the lighter one had an arm wrapped protectively around her waist. Nathan stopped about 10 feet from the fence, close enough to talk but far enough to react if needed. "You are on the border of my land," he called out, keeping his voice level and calm. "State your business." The lighter-skinned orc stepped forward slightly, her amber eyes meeting his with a directness that was both challenging and oddly vulnerable. "We seek Nathan Driscoll," she said, her voice rough but clear. The common tongue, spoken with the characteristic guttural accent of her people. The man who placed a bride contract with the settlement broker in Thornhaven. Nathan felt the ground shift beneath his feet. 6 months ago, in a moment of loneliness and practical desperation, he had indeed gone to the settlement broker. His farm was thriving, but it was too much work for one man. He needed help. He needed a partner. The broker specialized in arranging contracts between frontier settlers and women from various communities who were looking for new lives. Nathan had specified someone strong, capable, willing to work hard. He had not specified species because, frankly, he had not thought it would matter to him as long as she was a good person. The broker had taken his coin and his information, and Nathan had heard nothing back. Until now. "I am Nathan Driscoll," he said slowly. His eyes moved between the two women. But the contract was for one bride, not two. The lighter-skinned orc's jaw tightened. "I am Kira. This is my sister Jella." She pulled the darker-skinned woman closer. "The contract is with me. But we will not be separated. If you cannot accept both of us, we will leave and the contract will be void." There was defiance in her voice, but underneath it, Nathan heard something else. Desperation. Fear. He looked at Jella more closely and saw that she was not just tired. She was ill. Her skin had an ashen undertone and she was breathing too quickly. "Your sister is sick," Nathan said. Kira's expression flickered just for a moment before she brought it back under control. "She will recover. She is strong." "She needs rest and care," Nathan said. He made a decision, the same kind of gut-level decision that had kept him alive during his patrol years. "Come inside, both of you. We can discuss the contract after she is tended to." Kira stared at him, clearly not having expected this response. "You would allow us both onto your land?" "Into your home. I would allow 2 travelers in need to rest and recover," Nathan said. "After that we talk. Is that acceptable?" For a long moment, Kira did not move. Then Jella swayed again, more dramatically this time, and Kira made a small sound of distress. "Yes," she said quickly. "Yes, that is acceptable." Nathan opened the gate in the fence, stepping back to give them room. Kira half carried Jella through, and up close, Nathan could see just how bad the situation was. Jella's eyes were glassy with fever, and there was a bandage wrapped around her left forearm that was stained with old blood and something that might have been infection. "How long has she been like this?" Nathan asked, moving to Jella's other side without thinking. He took some of her weight, and Kira shot him a surprised look but did not protest. 4 days, Kira said, her voice tight. "There was an incident on the road, bandits. She was cut, and the wound festered. 4 days of traveling with a festering wound." Nathan felt a surge of anger at whoever had done this, followed by a wave of respect for Kira's sheer determination. "My house is just up the path. Can she walk that far?" "She can," Jella said, her voice weak but stubborn. "I am not an invalid." "No one said you were," Nathan replied. "But there is no shame in accepting help when you need it." They made it to the house, a sturdy 2-story structure that Nathan had built himself over the course of 2 years. It was simple but solid, with good timber framing and a stone foundation. He kicked the door open and guided them into the main room, which served as kitchen, dining area, and living space all in one. The fire in the hearth had burned down to embers, but the room was still warm. "Upstairs," Nathan said. "There is a bedroom. Put her on the bed." Kira hesitated. "We cannot take your bed." "It is a guest room," Nathan lied. It was actually his room, but they did not need to know that. "Upstairs, second door on the left. Go." Kira obeyed, half dragging Jella up the narrow stairs. Nathan moved quickly to the kitchen area, pumping fresh water into a basin and grabbing clean cloths from the cupboard. He had a medical kit left over from his patrol days, still well stocked with herbs and ointments. He gathered everything and headed upstairs. He found them in the bedroom. Kira had laid Jella on the bed and was struggling to remove the soiled bandage from her arm. Jella was trying not to cry out, but small sounds of pain escaped her clenched teeth. "Let me," Nathan said, setting down the water and supplies. "I have some field medic training." Kira looked at him with those fierce amber eyes, clearly torn between pride and practicality. Practicality won. She stepped back, giving him access. Nathan carefully unwrapped the bandage, trying to be as gentle as possible. When he finally got it off, he had to suppress a wince. The wound was deep, a clean slice that had probably come from a blade, and it was badly infected. Ugly red streaks radiated from the cut, and the flesh around it was swollen and hot to the touch. "This is serious," Nathan said quietly. "If it is not treated properly, she could lose the arm. Or worse." "Can you treat it?" Kira asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I can try," Nathan said. "It is going to hurt. A lot. I need to clean it out, apply a poultice, and keep the fever down. She needs to stay in bed for at least a week, maybe more." "Do what you must," Jella said, her eyes focusing on Nathan with effort. "I trust you." The simple statement hit Nathan harder than it should have. This orc woman who had known him for all of 15 minutes trusted him with her life. He nodded. "All right, Kira, hold her down. This is going to be bad." What followed was one of the most difficult things Nathan had done in a long time. He cleaned the wound as thoroughly as he could, using a solution of boiled water, salt, and medicinal alcohol that made Jella scream despite her obvious efforts to stay quiet. Kira held her sister down. tears streaming down her green cheeks, whispering words in the Orcish language that Nathan did not understand but recognized as comfort. After cleaning the wound, Nathan applied a poultice made from yarrow, honey, and garlic, a recipe his mother had taught him years ago. He wrapped it tightly with clean bandages, and then turned his attention to the fever. He made Jella drink water mixed with willow bark powder, a natural fever reducer, and covered her with light blankets. By the time he was done, Jella had passed out from exhaustion and pain. Nathan stood up, his own hands shaking slightly from the adrenaline, and looked at Kira. She was staring at him with an expression he could not quite read. "You did not have to do that," she said. "Yes, I did," Nathan replied. "No one deserves to suffer like that if I can help." "We are orcs," Kira said, as if that explained something. "You are people," Nathan said firmly, "and you came to my door in need. That is all that matters." Kira looked away, brushing at her eyes with the back of her hand. "I do not understand you, Nathan Driscoll." "You do not have to," Nathan said. "Not yet, anyway. Right now, you need to eat something and get some rest yourself. You look like you are about to fall over." "I need to watch over Jella." "You can watch over her after you eat," Nathan said. "I will stay with her while you get some food. There is stew left over from last night. It is downstairs in the pot over the fire. Help yourself." Kira looked like she wanted to argue, but her body betrayed her with a loud growl from her stomach. She flushed slightly, a darker green spreading across her cheeks. "I will be quick." "Take your time," Nathan said, settling into the chair beside the bed. "I will call if anything changes." Kira left, her footsteps heavy on the stairs. Nathan sat in the growing darkness, listening to Jella's labored breathing. He should light a lamp, but he was suddenly very tired. The enormity of the situation was starting to sink in. 2 orc women had shown up at his home, claiming a bride contract. One was desperately ill. The other was fiercely protective and clearly distrustful of him, despite her current gratitude. And he had just invited them both into his home without a second thought. His friends from the patrol, if they could see him now, would think he had lost his mind. Orcs were the enemy, they would say. Orcs were dangerous, unpredictable, violent. But Nathan had always had a problem with blanket statements like that. He had met plenty of dangerous, unpredictable, violent humans in his time. And he had met a few orcs during his patrol years who had shown more honor than many of the men he had served with. He believed in judging people as individuals. And so far, Kira and Jella had shown him nothing but desperate courage. The question was, what was he going to do about the contract? A contract for a bride-implied marriage, partnership, a shared life. He had been prepared for one woman to join him on this farm to build something together. But 2, and sisters who refused to be separated. It was unconventional, to say the least. The people in Thornhaven, the nearest settlement, would have opinions, strong ones, negative ones most likely. Nathan had already faced some prejudice for being willing to consider an orc bride in the first place. Taking in 2 of them would cause a scandal. But as Nathan sat there in the dark, listening to Jella fight her fever, he realized something. He did not care what the people of Thornhaven thought. He had chosen this isolated homestead specifically to get away from the narrow-mindedness of settled society. He had built this place with his own 2 hands, and he would be damned if he let anyone tell him how to live his life here. The real question was whether this arrangement could work on a practical level. Could 3 people build a life together on this farm? And what would that life look like? Footsteps on the stairs interrupted his thoughts. Kira appeared in the doorway, holding a bowl of stew. She looked slightly better, less hollow around the eyes. "You should eat too," she said, surprising him. "I will in a bit," Nathan said. "How was the stew?" "Good," Kira said. She hesitated, then added, "Thank you. For the food, for helping Jella, for everything." You do not need to keep thanking me, Nathan said, but you are welcome. Kira came into the room and sat on the edge of the bed, placing a hand on Jella's forehead. The fever is still high. It will take time, Nathan said. The poultice needs to work and her body needs to fight the infection. But she is strong. You said so yourself. She is, Kira said softly, stronger than me in many ways. She has always been the brave one. I find that hard to believe, Nathan said. You walked for who knows how many miles with a sick sister into unknown territory to meet a stranger who might have turned you away or worse. That takes a special kind of bravery. Kira looked at him, and in the dim light from the hallway, her eyes seemed to glow slightly. You are not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone harder, crueler, perhaps. The broker in Thornhaven made it clear that you were a former border patrol soldier. I expected someone who would see us as the enemy. I did serve on the border, Nathan said. And I will not lie. I saw things during those years that made me wary. But I also learned that enemies are usually just people protecting what they love, and that most conflicts come from fear and misunderstanding, not from any inherent evil. That is a surprisingly wise perspective, Kira said. I had a good commander, Nathan said. He taught me to think before I acted, to question my assumptions. It kept me alive and it kept me from doing things I would have regretted. They sat in silence for a while, both watching Jella. Nathan could feel the weight of unasked questions hanging in the air between them. Finally, Kira spoke. What are you going to do? About the contract, Nathan took a deep breath. I have been thinking about that. The contract was for one bride, yes, but circumstances have changed. You and your sister are here, and she is in no condition to travel. Even if I wanted to send you away, which I do not, it would be cruel to make her move before she is healed. So we can stay. For now. Kira's voice was carefully neutral, but Nathan could hear the hope underneath. You can stay, Nathan confirmed. As long as you need to. After Jella recovers, we can discuss the long-term arrangement. If you want to void the contract and leave, I will not stop you. If you want to stay, we will figure out how to make it work. Both of us, Kira pressed. You would consider allowing both of us to stay. I would, Nathan said. Though I will be honest, I am not entirely sure how it would work. I have never heard of a marriage contract involving 3 people, but I am willing to explore the possibilities if you are. You would marry both of us. Kira's voice rose slightly in surprise. I did not say that, Nathan said quickly, feeling heat rise in his own cheeks. I just meant that I am open to finding an arrangement that works for all of us. Maybe you both live here and work the farm as partners, but not necessarily as wives. Or maybe one of you wants the marriage contract and the other just wants a place to stay. I do not know. We would have to talk about it. Kira was quiet for a long moment. In our clan, she said slowly, Jella and I were outcasts. Our mother was human. Our father was an orc warrior who fell in love with a human prisoner and refused to give her up. The clan elders were furious. They allowed the union only because our father was a valuable fighter, but they made it clear that we, the children of that union, would never be fully accepted. Nathan listened, not interrupting, sensing that this was important. Jella and I have always had each other, Kira continued. We are half-breeds in a world that does not want us. 2 orc for the humans, 2 human for the orcs. When our parents died 3 years ago, the clan made our lives unbearable. They gave us the worst jobs, denied us mates, mocked us constantly. We endured it because we had nowhere else to go. What changed? Nathan asked gently. Jella turned 20 this spring, Kira said. She is 2 years younger than me. The clan chief decided he wanted her as his 3rd wife. She refused. He does not take refusal well. He tried to force the issue and I intervened. We fought and we fled. We have been running for months, trying to find somewhere we could belong. And the broker in Thornhaven, I saw the posting, Kira said. A settler looking for a strong, capable bride. No species specified. It seemed too good to be true, but I was desperate. We were running out of money, Jella was struggling, and winter is coming. I could not keep us alive on the road much longer. So you took the contract, Nathan said. I took the contract, Kira confirmed. But I could not leave Jella behind. She is all I have. So I told her we would go together, and if the human rejected us, we would figure something else out. And then the bandits attacked, and Jella was hurt, and I thought we were going to die on the road before we even got here. Nathan felt a surge of emotion, something between compassion and anger at the unfairness of it all. These two women had been dealt a terrible hand by life, and they were doing their best to survive. You are here now, he said firmly. You are safe. Jella is going to recover, and we are going to figure this out. I promise you that. Kira looked at him with those intense amber eyes, and Nathan saw tears gathering at the corners. Why are you being so kind to us? Because it is the right thing to do, Nathan said simply. And because I think maybe we can help each other. I need help on this farm. You and Jella need a safe place to live. Maybe this can work out for all of us. You are a strange man, Nathan Driscoll, Kira said, but there was warmth in her voice now. So I have been told, Nathan said with a small smile. Now you should get some rest. I will take the first watch over Jella. There is another bedroom across the hall. The bed is made up. Get some sleep and we will switch in a few hours. You are giving us both bedrooms, Kira asked. Where will you sleep? There is a couch downstairs, Nathan said. It is comfortable enough. Go on. You are exhausted. Kira stood, hesitated, then did something that surprised him. She reached out and touched his shoulder, a brief, awkward gesture of gratitude. Thank you, Nathan. You are welcome, Kira. She left, and Nathan settled in for a long night of watching over a feverish orc woman he had just met. It was not how he had imagined his evening going, but somehow it felt right. He had made a choice to help, and he would see it through, whatever came next. The night passed slowly. Nathan dozed in the chair, waking every hour or so to check on Jella and change the cool cloth on her forehead. Her fever spiked around midnight, and he had to give her more willow bark tea, physically supporting her while she drank it in a half-conscious state. She mumbled things in Orcish that he did not understand, and once she called out for Kira in a voice so full of fear that Nathan almost went to wake her sister. But Jella calmed down after the tea took effect, and Nathan let Kira sleep. She needed the rest desperately. As dawn light began to filter through the window, Nathan heard movement from across the hall. A moment later, Kira appeared in the doorway, her hair disheveled from sleep. How is she? Kira asked immediately. Fever spiked around midnight, but it broke about an hour ago, Nathan said. She is resting easier now. I think the worst might be over. Kira came to the bedside, placing her hand on Jella's forehead. She is cooler, she said, relief evident in her voice. You did it. You saved her. She saved herself, Nathan said. She is a fighter. I just gave her body the help it needed. Kira turned to look at him, and Nathan suddenly became aware of how he must look. He had not slept properly, his clothes were rumpled, and he probably smelled of sweat and sick-room air. You watched over her all night, Kira said. I told you I would. Yes, but I did not truly believe you would, Kira admitted. I thought you would wake me after an hour or two, or that you would give up and leave her to fate. I do not give up easily, Nathan said, and I keep my word. Kira studied him for a long moment, and Nathan had the uncomfortable feeling that she was seeing right through him, reading things he had not even admitted to himself yet. Go and get some proper rest, Kira said finally. I will watch her now. You have done more than enough. Nathan wanted to argue, but his body was betraying him with exhaustion. All right, he said, but wake me if anything changes. And there are eggs in the cold box downstairs and bread in the pantry. Help yourself to breakfast. I will, Kira said. Rest well, Nathan Driscoll, you have earned it. Nathan made his way downstairs, his legs feeling like lead. He collapsed on the couch without even removing his boots and fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. When he woke, the sun was high in the sky, and he could smell something cooking. He sat up groggily, trying to orient himself. The clock on the mantel said it was past noon. He had slept for hours. He got up and followed the smell to the kitchen area, where he found Kira standing at the stove, stirring something in a pot. She had changed out of her travel-stained clothes into something cleaner, though still clearly her own garments, not anything from his house. Her black hair was freshly braided, and she looked far more alert than she had the previous night. "You are awake," she said, glancing over her shoulder. "Good, I made soup. It is nothing fancy, just vegetables and a bit of the dried meat I found in the pantry. I hope you do not mind that I raided your stores." "Not at all," Nathan said. "That is what they are there for. How is Jella?" "Sleeping peacefully," Kira said. "Her fever is completely gone and the wound looks better. The swelling has gone down significantly." Nathan felt relief wash through him. "That is excellent news." "Thanks to you," Kira said. She ladled soup into 2 bowls and brought them to the table. "Sit. Eat, you must be starving." Nathan realized he was indeed starving. He could not remember the last time he had eaten. He sat down and took a tentative sip of the soup. It was good, well seasoned and hearty. "You are a good cook," he said. "My mother taught me," Kira said. She said that being able to feed yourself and others was one of the most important skills in life. She was right. They ate in companionable silence for a while. Nathan found himself studying Kira when he thought she was not looking. In the daylight, without the stress and exhaustion clouding her features, she was actually quite striking. Her green skin had a healthy glow, and her amber eyes were bright and intelligent. Her features were strong, with high cheekbones and a determined jaw, but there was a softness to her mouth that hinted at kindness. "What?" Kira asked, catching him staring. Nathan felt his cheeks heat. "Sorry, I was just thinking that you look much better after a good night's sleep." "So do you," Kira said, and there was a hint of amusement in her voice. "Though you might want to consider washing up before Jella wakes. You smell like a barn." Nathan laughed, surprised by her directness. "Fair enough. I will clean up after lunch." "Speaking of which, we should probably discuss some practical matters." Such as how this is going to work in the short term," Nathan said. "Jella needs to recover, which will take time. During that time, you both need a place to stay." "I am happy to provide that, but we should establish some ground rules and expectations." Kira nodded. "I am listening. First, you are both guests in my home until Jella is well enough to travel and we can have a proper discussion about the contract. You are welcome to stay in the upstairs bedrooms and you should feel free to use the kitchen and common areas. I will take the couch downstairs." "That hardly seems fair," Kira said. "It is your house." "It is also the practical solution," Nathan said. "The couch is comfortable and I am used to rougher sleeping conditions from my patrol days. Besides, Jella needs a proper bed to recover and you should be close to her." Kira considered this, then nodded. "All right, what else?" "Second, I expect you to help around the farm as much as you are able," Nathan said. "Not because I think you owe me, but because there is work to be done, and I could use the help. This is harvest season, and I have been trying to manage everything myself. If you are going to be here anyway, we might as well work together." "That seems more than fair," Kira said. "I am a hard worker, Nathan. You will not regret taking us in." "I do not doubt it," Nathan said. "Third, and this is important, we need to be honest with each other." If something is not working, we talk about it. If you are unhappy, you tell me. If I am doing something that makes you uncomfortable, you say so. No festering resentments or unspoken complaints. Agreed, agreed, Kira said. And the same goes for you. If we are a burden, or if you change your mind about any of this, you tell us. I will, Nathan promised. Now, there is one more thing we should discuss, though it is not exactly a rule. What is it? Nathan hesitated, trying to figure out how to phrase this delicately. The people in Thornhaven, the nearest settlement, they are going to have opinions about this situation, about you and Jella being here. Some of those opinions will not be kind. Kira's expression hardened. We are used to prejudice, Nathan. We have lived with it our entire lives. I know, Nathan said, but I want you to be prepared, and I want you to know that I will stand with you if it comes to that. This is my land, and I decide who is welcome on it. No one from Thornhaven has any say in the matter. Kira looked at him with something like wonder. You would defend us. Against your own people. If they come at you with hatred and prejudice, they are not my people, Nathan said firmly. I choose my allies based on character, not species. And from what I have seen so far, you and Jella have more integrity than half the folks in Thornhaven. Kira's eyes were bright with emotion. I do not know what to say. You do not have to say anything, Nathan said. Just know that you are safe here, both of you. They finished their lunch in thoughtful silence. Afterward, Nathan did indeed wash up, heating water and scrubbing away the grime of the last day and night. He changed into clean clothes and felt considerably more human. When he emerged, Kira was sitting by Jella's bedside again. Nathan poked his head in to check on them. How is she doing? Still sleeping, Kira said, but peacefully. I think she is healing. Good, Nathan said. I need to go check on the animals and do some work in the fields. Will you be all right here? We will be fine, Kira said. Go and do what you need to do. We will be here when you return. Nathan headed outside into the bright autumn afternoon. The air was crisp and cool, carrying the scent of ripening grain and dried leaves. He made his rounds of the farm, checking on the chickens, the 2 milk cows, the pigs, and the vegetable garden. Everything was in reasonable order, though he could see a dozen tasks that needed attention. He spent the afternoon working, losing himself in the familiar rhythm of physical labor. He repaired the broken fence rail, harvested some late vegetables, collected eggs, and milked the cows. It felt good to work, to do something productive and straightforward after the emotional intensity of the last 24 hours. As the sun began to set, he headed back to the house. He found Kira in the kitchen again, this time preparing what looked like a more elaborate meal. Jella woke up about an hour ago, Kira said without preamble. She is lucid and asking for food. I think that is a good sign. That is an excellent sign, Nathan said, feeling a surge of relief. Can I see her? She would like that, Kira said. She wants to thank you herself. Nathan climbed the stairs and knocked gently on the bedroom door. Jella, it is Nathan. May I come in, please? A weak voice answered. Nathan entered to find Jella sitting up in bed, propped against pillows. She looked pale and tired, but her eyes were clear and focused. Up close, he could see that she had the same amber eyes as Kira, but her features were slightly softer, more rounded. She was beautiful in a different way than her sister, more delicate despite her strong build. Hello, Nathan said, suddenly feeling awkward. How are you feeling? Like I was trampled by a war horse, Jella said, but there was a hint of humor in her voice. But alive, thanks to you. Kira told me what you did, how you took us in, treated my wound, watched over me through the night. Anyone would have done the same, Nathan said. No, Jella said firmly. They would not have. Most humans would have turned us away or worse. You saved my life, Nathan Driscoll. I owe you a debt I can never fully repay. You do not owe me anything, Nathan said. "I am just glad you are recovering." "Kira also told me about your offer," Jella said. "About letting us both stay, at least until I am healed, and maybe longer if we can work out an arrangement." "That is right," Nathan said. Jella looked at him with those penetrating amber eyes. "Why would you do this? You do not know us. We are orcs, or at least half orcs. We could be dangerous. We could be lying about everything." "You could be," Nathan agreed. "But I do not think you are. And even if you were, you needed help and I was able to provide it. That is reason enough." "You are either a saint or a fool," Jella said. "Probably a bit of both," Nathan said with a smile. "Now you should rest and eat, build up your strength. We can discuss the future when you are feeling better." "Nathan," Jella said as he turned to leave. "Thank you, truly." "You are welcome, Jella, truly." He went back downstairs to find Kira setting the table. They ate dinner together, a simple but satisfying meal of roasted chicken and root vegetables. Kira brought a portion upstairs for Jella, and Nathan could hear the sisters talking in low voices, though he could not make out the words. After dinner, Nathan stepped outside to watch the sunset. The sky was ablaze with color, orange and pink and purple bleeding across the horizon. The land stretched out before him, his land, the farm he had built from nothing. He had been alone here for 2 years, and he had told himself he was content with solitude. But having Kira and Jella in the house, hearing voices and footsteps and life echoing through the rooms, felt right in a way he had not expected. It felt like coming home, even though he was already home. He heard the door open behind him and turned to see Kira stepping out onto the porch. "Beautiful sunset," she said, coming to stand beside him. "It is," Nathan agreed. "I never get tired of them." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the colors fade. Finally, Kira spoke. "Jella and I talked," she said. "About you, about this place, about what comes next. And we want to stay," Kira said. "Both of us, if you will have us." Nathan felt his heart rate pick up. "The contract was for a bride, Kira, for marriage. Are you saying you want to honor that contract?" "I am saying I want to explore the possibility," Kira said carefully. "You have shown us more kindness in 2 days than most people have shown us in our entire lives. You are a good man, Nathan Driscoll, and this is a good place. We could be happy here, I think, all 3 of us." "But how would it work?" Nathan asked. "I have never heard of a 3-person marriage." "Neither have I," Kira admitted. "But maybe we do not have to define it right away. Maybe we start by living together, working together, getting to know each other, and we see where it leads." "What about Jella?" Nathan asked. "How does she feel about all this?" "Jella trusts my judgment," Kira said. "And she likes you. She says anyone who would sit up all night with a sick stranger has a good heart, but she also wants to get to know you better before making any permanent decisions. As do I." "That seems reasonable," Nathan said. "So we take it slow. Live together, work the farm, see if we are compatible. No pressure, no expectations beyond basic respect and cooperation." "Exactly," Kira said. She paused, then added, "There is one thing, though." "What is that?" "Jella and I will not be separated," Kira said, her voice taking on a hard edge. "Whatever arrangement we come to, it has to include both of us. If you decide you only want one of us, then you get neither. We are a package deal." "I understand," Nathan said. "And I respect that. Family is important, loyalty is important. I would not ask you to give that up." Kira relaxed slightly. "Good, then we have an understanding." "We do," Nathan said. He held out his hand. "Partners then, for now. We will see where the road takes us." Kira looked at his hand for a moment, then took it. Her grip was strong and warm, her palm calloused from hard work. They shook, and Nathan felt a strange tingle run up his arm at the contact. "Partners," Kira agreed. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm that felt surprisingly natural. Jella recovered slowly but steadily, regaining her strength day by day. By the end of the first week, she was able to get out of bed and move around the house. By the end of the second week, she was helping with light chores, insisting that she could not just lie around being useless. Nathan found himself enjoying their company more than he had anticipated. Kira was sharp-witted and hardworking, with a dry sense of humor that caught him off guard. She threw herself into the farm work with determination, learning quickly and never complaining about the long hours or difficult tasks. She was strong, easily as strong as Nathan himself, and she could lift and carry loads that would have strained most men. Jella was quieter, more thoughtful, but she had a gentle warmth that balanced Kira's intensity. She took over most of the cooking, claiming that she needed something to do while she built back her strength, and her meals were consistently delicious. She also had a way with the animals, calming the skittish chickens and coaxing extra milk from the cows with soft words and gentle hands. The sisters were clearly close, finishing each other's sentences and communicating with glances and small gestures. Sometimes Nathan would catch them speaking in their native Orcish language, their voices rising and falling in unfamiliar cadences. He did not mind. It was comforting, in a way, to know they had that private space for themselves. As for Nathan, he found himself growing increasingly fond of both women. Kira challenged him, pushing back when she disagreed with his methods or suggesting improvements to his systems. Jella soothed him, offering quiet support and understanding when the work grew frustrating. They complemented each other perfectly, and Nathan realized that having both of them, there created a balance he had not known he needed. The harvest progressed well. Together, the three of them managed to bring in the wheat, the barley, and the late vegetables with time to spare. Nathan taught the sisters how to use the various farm tools, and they taught him Orcish songs that made the work go faster. In the evenings, they would sit by the fire, talking about their lives, their hopes, their fears. Nathan learned about their childhood in the Orc clan, about the constant struggle to prove themselves, about the prejudice they had faced from both humans and orcs. He told them about his time on the border patrol, about the things he had seen and done, about why he had chosen to leave that life behind and build something peaceful. They did not talk about the contract, or about marriage, or about the future. It was as if they had all silently agreed to let that question rest for now, to focus on the present and let the future take care of itself. But Nathan could not deny that he was developing feelings for both women. With Kira, it was a fierce attraction, a pull toward her strength and confidence. She challenged him, made him think, made him want to be better. With Jella, it was a softer warmth, a comfort in her presence. She made him feel safe, understood, accepted. He had no idea if they felt anything similar toward him. They were friendly, cooperative, occasionally affectionate in small ways like a hand on his shoulder or a smile across the dinner table. But they had not given any indication that they saw him as anything more than a benefactor and work partner. Nathan told himself he was fine with that. Whatever happened or did not happen, he was glad they were there. The farm was thriving, his life was richer, and he had found two people he genuinely cared about. That was enough, or so he told himself. One evening, about a month after the sisters had arrived, Nathan was in the barn repairing a harness when Kira found him. "There you are," she said. "I have been looking for you." "Just finishing up some work," Nathan said, not looking up from the leather he was stitching. "What do you need?" "Jella and I want to talk to you," Kira said. "About the contract." Nathan's hands stilled. "All right now, if you have time." "I have time," Nathan said, setting aside the harness. He followed Kira back to the house, his heart beating faster than he would like to admit. Inside, Jella was waiting by the fire. She smiled at Nathan as he entered, gesturing to a chair across from where she and Kira sat on the couch. "So," Nathan said, sitting down and trying to appear calm, "what did you want to discuss?" Kira and Jella exchanged a glance, one of those silent communications that Nathan had learned to recognize. Then Kira spoke. "We have been here for a month now," she said. "Jella is fully healed. The harvest is nearly complete. It is time to make a decision about the future." "I see," Nathan said. "And what decision have you come to?" "We want to stay," Jella said. "We both want to stay. This place feels like home, Nathan. You feel like home. We do not want to leave." Relief and joy surged through Nathan, but he kept his voice steady. "I want you to stay too, both of you. But we need to figure out what that means exactly." "We know," Kira said. "That is why we wanted to have this conversation, to be clear about what we are proposing." "I am listening," Nathan said. Kira took a deep breath. "In our mother's culture, in the human culture she came from, marriage was between one man and one woman. In our father's culture, in the Orc tradition, it was common for powerful warriors to have multiple wives, and for strong women to have multiple husbands. We are the children of both cultures, Nathan. We do not fit neatly into either." "What are you saying?" Nathan asked, though he thought he was beginning to understand. "We are saying that we want to propose a different kind of arrangement," Jella said. "One that honors all of us. We want to be your wives, Nathan, both of us, together." Nathan felt like the ground had shifted beneath him. "You want a marriage between the three of us?" "Yes," Kira said, "if you are willing. We have talked about it extensively, Jella and I. We both have feelings for you. We both want to build a life with you, and we will not be separated. This is the only solution that makes sense to us." "How do you feel about sharing?" Nathan asked, looking between them. "About sharing me, I mean. Would you not be jealous of each other? We are sisters," Jella said simply. "We have shared everything our entire lives. Our mother's love, our father's protection, every scrap of food and every moment of joy. Sharing the love of a good man seems natural to us. And besides, we do not see it as dividing your affection. We see it as multiplying the love in our family." "You have feelings for me," Nathan said, latching onto that detail. "Both of you." "Yes," Kira said, her cheeks darkening to a deeper green. "I do. You are kind, honorable, hardworking, and patient. You treated us with respect when you had no reason to. You saved Jella's life. You gave us a home when we had nowhere else to go. How could I not develop feelings for you?" "I feel the same," Jella added. "You are a good man, Nathan, the best man we have ever known. And this past month, working beside you, laughing with you, living with you, I have come to care for you deeply." Nathan felt emotion welling up in his chest, threatening to overwhelm him. "I have feelings for you too," he said, his voice rough. "Both of you. I tried to keep things professional, but I could not help it. Kira, you are amazing, strong and smart and fierce. You inspire me every day. And Jella, you are wonderful, kind and gentle and wise. You make me feel at peace." "So you are considering it?" Kira asked, leaning forward. "You would marry both of us?" "I am considering it," Nathan said, "but I need to think about the practicalities. A three-way marriage is not recognized by human law. We could not make it official through any legal means." "We do not need human law," Jella said. "We can make our own vows, create our own bonds. What matters is that we commit to each other, that we build a life together based on love and trust and mutual respect." "And what about children?" Nathan asked. "If we are going to do this, we should talk about that too." "We want children," Kira said. "Someday, do you?" "I do," Nathan said. "I have always imagined having a family. But in this arrangement, how would that work? Would both of you bear my children?" "If we are blessed with that possibility, yes," Jella said. "We would both want to be mothers. We would raise the children together as a family. All three of us, and any children we might have." Nathan tried to imagine it. A house full of children, both green-skinned and not, running through the fields and learning to work the farm. Kira and Jella teaching them to be strong and kind. Him teaching them to be honorable and hardworking. A family built on love, despite what the world might think. It was a beautiful vision, and also a terrifying one. The people in Thornhaven will not accept this, Nathan said. They barely tolerate me as it is, living out here on the frontier. If they find out I have married 2 orc women, there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? Kira asked, her voice hard. Social isolation at minimum, Nathan said. They might refuse to trade with me, which would make it difficult to get supplies and sell our goods. In a worst-case scenario, they might try to drive us out, claim we are a threat to the community. Would they attack us? Jella asked, fear creeping into her voice. I do not think so, Nathan said, but I cannot guarantee it. People fear what they do not understand, and they hate what they fear. So what do we do? Kira asked. Hide. Pretend that Jella and I are just workers, not your wives. Nathan thought about it. No, he said finally. No, I will not ask you to hide who you are or what we are to each other. If we do this, we do it openly and honestly. Let the people of Thornhaven think what they want. This is our land, our life, our choice. You would risk your standing in the community for us? Jella asked. I would, Nathan said, because you are worth it, because what we could build together is worth it. Kira stood up suddenly and crossed to where Nathan sat. She knelt in front of him, taking his hands in hers. Nathan Driscoll, will you marry me and my sister? Will you make us your wives and let us make you our husband? Will you build a life with us, face the future together, and create a family based on love? Jella joined her, kneeling beside Kira and adding her hands to the pile. Please say yes, she said softly. We love you, Nathan. We want to spend our lives with you. Nathan looked at the 2 women kneeling before him, their amber eyes shining with hope and love, and he knew there was only one answer he could give. Yes, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Yes, I will marry you both. I will be your husband, and you will be my wives, and we will face whatever comes together. Both women let out sounds of joy. Kira surged forward and kissed him, her lips warm and firm against his. It was his first kiss with either of them, and it sent electricity through his entire body. When she pulled back, Jella leaned in and kissed him as well, her kiss softer but no less passionate. When they finally broke apart, all 3 of them were breathing hard. So how do we do this? Nathan asked. How do we make it official? We write our own vows, Kira said. We speak them to each other, make our promises, and we consider ourselves married from that moment on. When? Nathan asked. Tonight, Jella said. Why wait? We know what we want. Let us commit to it now. Nathan laughed, surprised by her eagerness. All right, tonight. Let us get married tonight. They spent the next hour preparing. Kira and Jella changed into their best clothes, simple but clean dresses that they had brought with them. Nathan put on his finest shirt and trousers, wishing he had something more formal. They cleaned the main room, built up the fire, and lit candles to create a warm, intimate atmosphere. As the sun set outside, the 3 of them stood together in front of the fireplace. There was no officiant, no witnesses, just the 3 of them making promises to each other. Nathan went first. Kira, Jella, I vow to be your husband in all things. To work beside you, support you, protect you, and love you for as long as I live. I promise to honor you both equally, to never play favorites or create division between you. I promise to be faithful, honest, and true. I promise to build a home with you, a life with you, and a family with you. I give you my heart, my hand, and my future. Kira spoke next. Nathan, I vow to be your wife, to stand beside you in all things. I promise to work hard, to support your dreams, to challenge you when you need it, and to comfort you when you struggle. I promise to share you with my sister without jealousy or resentment. I promise to be faithful, honest, and true. I give you my strength, my heart, and my future." Finally, Jella spoke. "Nathan, I vow to be your wife, to build a life with you. I promise to care for you, to make our house a home, to bring joy and peace to your days. I promise to share you with my sister with love and gratitude. I promise to be faithful, honest, and true. I give you my gentleness, my heart, and my future." They stood in silence for a moment, the weight of the vows settling over them. Then Nathan reached out and took both of their hands. "Then we are married," he said. "From this moment forward, we are a family." "A family," Kira echoed, squeezing his hand. "Our family," Jella added. They spent the rest of the evening celebrating, opening a bottle of wine that Nathan had been saving for a special occasion and talking late into the night. When it was finally time for bed, they faced an awkward moment of uncertainty. "I could sleep on the couch," Nathan offered. "Give you both the bedrooms." "No," Kira said firmly. "We are married now. We should share a bed." "All three of us?" Nathan asked, his voice cracking slightly. "All three of us," Jella confirmed. "Though perhaps we should take things slowly in other respects. We have time to figure out the more intimate aspects of our relationship." Nathan felt relief and disappointment in equal measure. "That sounds wise. So we share a bed, but just for sleeping." "For now." "For now," Kira agreed. They made their way upstairs to the largest bedroom. The bed was big, but fitting 3 adults into it was still a tight squeeze. They arranged themselves with Nathan in the middle, Kira on his left and Jella on his right. It was awkward at first, all of them stiff and uncertain, but gradually they relaxed. Kira curled into Nathan's side, her head on his chest. Jella pressed close on the other side, her hand finding his. Nathan wrapped his arms around both of them, holding his wives close. "This feels right," he murmured. "It does," Kira agreed. "Perfect," Jella whispered. They fell asleep like that, tangled together in warmth and comfort and love. The next few weeks were an adjustment as they learned to navigate their new relationship. There were awkward moments, like trying to figure out how to divide Nathan's attention fairly, or dealing with the reality of sharing a bathroom and limited privacy. But there were also beautiful moments, like waking up between the two women he loved, or seeing them work together in perfect harmony, or the first time they all said, "I love you" to each other. They decided to make a trip to Thornhaven to get supplies and, in Nathan's mind, to start establishing their new reality in the community. He wanted to introduce Kira and Jella as his wives and see how people reacted. The trip did not go well. The moment they entered the settlement, Nathan could feel the stares. People whispered behind their hands, pointed, glared. When they entered the general store, the shopkeeper's face went stony. "Nathan Driscoll," the man said coldly. "I see you have brought your orc workers to town." "These are my wives," Nathan said clearly. "Kira and Jella Driscoll." The shopkeeper's eyes widened. "Your wives. You married orcs." "I did," Nathan said. "And I would appreciate it if you would treat them with respect." "I will not serve you," the shopkeeper said. "Not if you are going to flaunt your unnatural arrangement in my store. Get out." Nathan felt anger rising, but Kira put a hand on his arm. "It is all right," she said quietly. "We can get our supplies elsewhere." "No," Nathan said. "It is not all right. We have done nothing wrong." "We are not leaving." "Then I will call the constable," the shopkeeper said. Before the situation could escalate further, an older woman entered the store. She was gray-haired and sturdy, with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Nathan recognized her as Martha Dell, one of the original settlers of Thornhaven. "What is all this commotion?" she asked. "This man brought orcs into my store and claimed they are his wives," the shopkeeper said. Martha looked at Nathan, then at Kira and Jella. Her expression was unreadable. "Is that true, Nathan?" "It is," Nathan said. "Martha, these are my wives, Kira and Jella. We were married a few weeks ago." Martha studied the three of them for a long moment. Then, to Nathan's surprise, she smiled. "Well, congratulations," she said. "It is about time you settled down." "You have been alone on that farm too long," the shopkeeper sputtered. "Martha, you cannot be serious. They are orcs. It is unnatural." "What is unnatural is your rudeness," Martha said sharply. "These women are Nathan's wives, which makes them part of this community, whether you like it or not. Now, are you going to sell them supplies, or do I need to tell everyone in town about how you turned away paying customers?" The shopkeeper looked like he wanted to argue, but Martha's glare was formidable. "Fine," he muttered, "but I do not have to like it." "No one is asking you to like it," Martha said. "Just be civil. Nathan, why do you not tell me what you need? I will help you gather it." With Martha's help, they managed to get their supplies, though the shopkeeper charged them premium prices for everything. When they left, Martha walked with them to their wagon. "Thank you for what you did in there," Nathan said. "No thanks needed," Martha said. "I have known you since you first came to this valley, Nathan. You are a good man. If you say these women are your wives, then that is good enough for me." She turned to Kira and Jella. "You take care of him, you hear? He works too hard and does not eat enough." "We will," Kira promised, looking a bit stunned. "And you come to me if anyone gives you trouble," Martha continued. "I may be old, but I still have some sway in this community. I will make sure you are treated fairly." "Why are you helping us?" Jella asked. Martha smiled. "Because love is rare and precious, girl. I do not care what form it takes. You three clearly love each other, and that is worth protecting." With Martha's words warming them, they headed back to the farm. The trip had been difficult, but it had also shown them that not everyone would be against them. There were allies out there, people who would support their unusual family. As autumn turned to winter, they settled into a rhythm. The farm was prepared for the cold months, with the harvest stored and the animals secured. They spent the long winter evenings together, talking, reading, and simply enjoying each other's company. Nathan found that the physical side of their relationship developed naturally and at its own pace. He and Kira were passionate together, their lovemaking intense and energetic. With Jella, it was softer, more tender, but no less meaningful. The sisters never seemed jealous of his time with the other, and they were affectionate with each other as well, sharing a bond that Nathan respected and admired. By the time spring arrived, Jella announced that she was pregnant. The joy that filled the house was indescribable. Kira and Nathan fussed over Jella, making sure she was comfortable and healthy. They talked about names, about how to prepare for a baby, about what kind of parents they wanted to be. As Jella's belly grew, Kira also became pregnant. Nathan was going to be a father twice over, and he could not have been happier. They expanded the house, adding another bedroom for the children. They bought baby clothes and cribs and all the supplies they would need. The people of Thornhaven continued to be divided about the Driscoll family. Some, like Martha, were supportive. Others remained hostile, but Nathan, Kira, and Jella did not let it bother them. They had each other and they had their farm, and that was enough. Jella gave birth first, on a warm spring day when the fields were green and new. She labored for hours, with Kira and Nathan by her side, and finally brought a healthy baby girl into the world. The child had Jella's soft features and Nathan's brown hair, and her skin was a beautiful light green that seemed to glow in the sunlight. "Her name is Anna," Jella said, looking at her daughter with wonder. "Anna Driscoll. She is perfect," Nathan said, tears in his eyes. "She is ours," Kira said, touching the baby's tiny hand. "Our daughter." 3 months later, Kira gave birth to a boy. He had Kira's strong features and green skin, and Nathan's dark eyes. They named him Thomas after Nathan's father. The house was full of noise and life and love. Nathan had never worked so hard or slept so little, but he had also never been so happy. Watching Kira and Jella care for the children, seeing them nurse and rock and sing lullabies, filled his heart to bursting. The children grew quickly. Anna was a quiet, thoughtful child who loved helping in the garden. Thomas was energetic and curious, always getting into things. They both had Nathan's coloring and their mother's strength. They were beautiful, unique, perfect. As the children grew, Nathan and his wives talked about having more. They agreed that they would like a large family, that their home could hold much love. Over the next several years, Jella gave birth to 2 more children, another girl and a boy, and Kira had 2 more sons. The house expanded again, and the farm grew to support their growing family. The people of Thornhaven slowly became more accepting. It was hard to maintain prejudice when you saw Nathan and his family working together, laughing together, clearly thriving. The children were friendly and well-behaved, and they made friends with the human children in town. Martha Dell became an honorary grandmother to all the Driscoll children, spoiling them with treats and stories. Nathan's farm became one of the most successful in the valley. With the combined labor of himself, his 2 wives, and eventually his growing children, they were able to expand production and improve efficiency. They sold their goods at fair prices and treated everyone with respect, regardless of how they had been treated in return. Years passed. The children grew into capable, confident young people who knew they came from love. Anna became an expert gardener, growing herbs and vegetables that she sold in town. Thomas took over much of the heavy farm work, his strength and work ethic rivaling his mother's. The younger children each found their own talents and interests. Nathan aged, his hair going gray and his body growing stiffer. But he did so surrounded by love, supported by his wives, and proud of the family they had built together. Kira and Jella aged as well, laugh lines forming around their eyes, their hands becoming more calloused from years of work. One evening, when Nathan was in his 60s and the youngest of his children was preparing to leave home to start their own life, he sat on the porch with Kira and Jella, watching the sunset just as they had on the night they got married. "You ever regret it?" Nathan asked. "Taking that contract, coming here, marrying me?" "Never," Kira said immediately. "Not for a single moment. This has been the happiest time of my life," Jella agreed. "We found home, Nathan. We found family. We found love. What could I possibly regret?" "I just wanted to make sure," Nathan said. "Because I have never regretted it either. You two are the best thing that ever happened to me. You and our children, this life we have built. We built it together," Kira said. "That is what makes it special." They sat in comfortable silence, 3 people who had become one family against all odds. In the fields, their children worked together, preparing for the next season. In the distance, smoke rose from the chimneys of Thornhaven, where people had learned to accept what they once feared. Nathan thought back to that day when he had seen 2 figures cresting the hill, 2 desperate orc women seeking shelter and a chance at a new life. He had made a choice that day, a choice to help, to trust, to open his heart. It had been the best choice he had ever made. "I love you both," Nathan said quietly. "We love you too," Kira and Jella replied in unison. And there, on the porch of the home they had built together, surrounded by the life they had created, the Driscoll family watched another beautiful sunset paint the sky in colors of hope and promise. Their story, which had begun with a simple contract and a desperate journey, had become a testament to the power of love to overcome prejudice, fear, and convention. They had proven that family was not defined by tradition or law, but by the bonds of love, loyalty, and commitment. They had shown that courage was not just facing down external threats, but also having the strength to build something new and beautiful in defiance of a world that said it could not be done. As the stars began to appear in the darkening sky, Nathan squeezed the hands of his wives, feeling their strength and warmth. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new joys, new moments to be lived and treasured. But tonight they were together, and that was all that mattered. The Driscoll family, born from an unexpected contract and nurtured by unconventional love, had found their happily ever after. Not because their lives were perfect or easy, but because they had chosen each other, again and again, through every trial and triumph. And in the end, that choice was what made all the difference.